reason I wouldn't ride him with a Biffer on either. I think he's too reactive. And when this guy gets overreactive, it's not a good version of this horse. So the Biffer seemed like a good idea, and it might work for you. Yeah, and he's a funny guy. He's got that really slow body, but he's got quite a sharp mind. And he's such a pleaser. That's the thing. Like he just tries so hard to do the right thing. All right, back to the walk. What were you thinking there? Did you get lost for a second, or did you just miss your turn?
I missed my turn. I went too far.
Okay, I wasn't sure if you had kind of forgot where you were headed, or whether you just missed it, but yeah, you missed it by a mile, and then you get into that kind of wiggly approach onto the jump, and he's been really, really good today, but something like that, he does something that you start to worry again. Start again. Three types of horses that I see. There are horses that work against the rider, horses that are as good as the rider, and horses that try to do what the rider tells them to do. I think most of the time, horses are just looking after themselves. I think this is one of those rare horses that's actually trying to interpret what the rider is wanting and trying to do the right thing. Not just to save his own ass, but to save you. So, and that's a rare quality. Think about the lead. That was probably my favorite ride. I like that one. And the one jump that I really, really liked was the first part of the last line. Because you were pretty definite in the first part of that last line about encouraging him to go for the shorter distance into that line. And you did it in the softest, nicest way. So I like that, and of course the rest of the line was nice, and I think it was nice too. So this is best fit for sure. First day, not enough control. Yesterday, too much control. Probably worried him a little bit, but this, I think he's happy with this. He likes the mouthpiece, and that this has a little bit of extra pulley effect, gives you the control that you need. Because on the flat, he kind of got away from me a couple of times a little bit, but the jumping perfect. Other than that, his first two jumps weren't very good, and since then it's been perfect. We should add 3 more jumps. So after your last jump, so same 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. After the last jump, jump over the brown gate coming away from us, and then outside line over here. Do you know how many strides this is over here?
5.
Yep. Let me just change 2 jumps a little bit.
Sir, you know what time it is?
Okay, you know where you're going? The extra jumps, pretty ordinary type jumps. Just a couple of extra jumps that give you some practice. Slower. See, that's the problem with looking for the lead. One of the problems of looking for the lead. It only tells you half the story. So it happened to you on two turns there. After the last jump and then after that jump as well. You mistook what you actually had. You thought it looked right, and then about 5 tries later you're like, it's not right, it's cross country. So when you look for the lead, you consider two possible options. The reality is, when it comes to the lead, there's 4 options. So the course has 2 different cross cantons as well as 2 different holdings. That's why feeling the lead is another reason why feeling the lead is so much more effective. Beginning of that is fine. I'm happy enough at the beginning, even up to the outside line over there, is still really good. And the lead issue would kind of resolve itself. Not a lot of help from you, but he landed on the outside lead after the outside line. Very quickly changed to the inside. You looked, it looked right, so you carried on. You looked again because you knew it felt wrong. So you looked again, and by the time you came out of the corner, the horse fixed it on his own. Didn't get a lot of help from you. And then the same thing happened down here. There's that, it feels wrong, but it looks right. And that's why looking for the lead only tells you part of the story. Start again from the beginning. himself, and he's trying to figure out, are you leaning to the inside because you want him to cut to the inside, or are you just leaning to the inside to figure out what lead you're on? So, all right. I think you need to be positive and aggressive to your first jump. Make sure that he's awake, make sure that he's moving forward properly here. Like everywhere else, you just got to ride it, jump by jump, and see what you have. Freddie, how old are you? You're pretty good at this. For a guy that maybe hasn't done a huge amount of it. Then again, it would be pretty nice. So pleased that this horse is still funny at that jump. She needs to recognize what she can't make some mistakes. Yeah, the overreaction of that one jump is still affecting this horse. Good, and back to the walk. You can make quite a big fuss over him now. Tell him what a good boy he is. Tell him how wonderful he is. Pet him, pet him.
Pet your horse.
Pet
It's
him.
good.
Yeah. He was terrific. He was really good.
Translation.
The best thing out there, the thing that I'm most pleased to see, is how he's still worried about the second jump. Because I want you to realize that there are repercussions to an override too. That it's as bad to overreact on this horse as it is to underreact. So I'm really pleased that he is still nervous at that jumping. And I think that is such an important thing on this horse in particular. This horse has been on the verge of being screwed up permanently because somebody overreacted to some of the stuff that he's done. So absolutely keep that in mind. From this day going forward, it's so important to make sure that everything is underdone. React. Stay focused on what you want him to do, but don't overreact to anything that he does. You might do something where you feel like you want to burst into tears because he's done it. Underreact, get off, have a nervous breakdown, and then climb back on him and act like it never happened. It's just so important for this guy because he's a good guy, but I think it's really interesting to see him go to that jump still. He's terrific today. I'm really pleased. Like I said, I think he's firing on all cylinders mentally. He is right. He is on the ball. But he's been very, very genuine. The only thing that I've seen him do is just been a bit of anticipation, like the whole backing up thing or not wanting to walk forward. It's just he's just worried about the
And with
next
that,
step.
don't make a big deal of it, just,
Yeah, and just understand. You know, if you were nervous about something, and I stood here and yelled at you because you were nervous, we're not going to get rid of that anxiety. So, but if you are nervous about something, and there's something that I want you to do, I'm going to keep telling you, go do it. And do it better. And don't do that, do this instead. So I'm going to keep after you. I'm not going to overreact to it. I'm going to keep after you, much exactly the same way that I want you to ride the horse.
Okay.
Good, that's enough for him.
Okay. And
More
me,
jumps.
since I'm nervous about it, you're going to make me go do it again.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And, you know, I think I very much, as an instructor, I try to give you guys a little bit of a guide of how you should ride the horses still. And you never, ever hear me scream. And as a rider, I want a similar type of ride. It's about staying focused on making the right thing happen. If I am ever critical of you guys, I also try to say to you, once I've said, this is what you've done wrong, I also try to say to you that this is what you should do to make it happen right next time. And the same thing with the horse. I think there's a lot of riders out there that I see that are very critical of the horses, but they never tell the horse what they should do instead. They're just saying, don't do this, don't do that. And the horses get really frustrated by it, by that type of an approach. And I can imagine that this horses have that type of an approach. So it's all, I think, as an instructor, and for you guys riding the horses, it's so important to stay positive in the sense that you want to be constantly telling the horse what they're supposed to do to make it work out the right way. Okay, so just having had a couple of minutes to stand and relax, and should be quiet again. I think you'll be fine at the first jump. Be very, very efficient about your lead change after the first jump.
Just sit up to that.
Yeah, because, you know, I'm guessing that you're going to have a little bit more of an energetic horse again. And make sure that you stay straight. Remember, if he's inclined to shift to the inside, like he was right lead at the first jump when you were warming up, or left lead on that outside line over there, I think you've really got to consider the possibility that your body's leaning to the inside a little bit as well. Yep, outside, exactly right. Exactly right. Carry on. Well done. And obviously the lead issues continues to be a bit of a complication for you. Yeah, you did. And he was very relaxed through that whole thing, which is really good. So that's something that you guys have to work on with this guy a little bit, just really nailing that left lead canter departure.
And that's me too.
I thought you were okay. I was okay with where you were and what you're asking for, but it's something that he just gets a little bit tense and just immediately sort of goes to that right lead. But the jumps, he was absolutely fine. Just had that really nice sort of metronome type canter again. It's nice to say. Good. Well done.
Yeah.
He's a nice guy. All three of these horses are very conscientious horses. They're trying to do the right thing. They just don't really know what the right thing is sometimes. Like this guy, I don't think that he was ever trying to be defiant. There might be some other things at play that made the last couple of days a little harder, but he certainly was good today. Good job.
Earplugs were such a good idea.
Simple, be interesting to see how things go.